All right. Yep, I'm ready. Hey, hello, Trailblazers. Welcome to this session with hosted by Accenture, one of our platinum sponsor for Sea Dreaming. Please join me to welcome Mr. Marvin Bonifacio, and he will introduce to us the great content by Accenture. Over to you, Marvin.
Thanks, Faye, and good afternoon to everybody. I'm very, very happy to be part of this event. Just last year, I think, or 2 years ago, we had the Philippines streaming here in the Philippines, but SEA is a whole new ball game. Really, really exciting, and the platform is really, really cool, isn't it? So just to be introduction of myself, I'm Marvin Bonifacio. I do lead the Salesforce technical architecture team here out of Accenture in the Philippines. I'm actually based out of the lovely city of Cebu. Hopefully, you know a lot about the Philippines. So mainly there's Manila and then there's Cebu, the other very beautiful city in the south. So I am here just to introduce to you the content that we're going to share, which is sustainability cloud. One of the key things that we're trying to do differently is to go to the market with key plays. I myself, I do lead the telco play, but at the same time, there is one new big, cool, and awesome space that we can make a real difference in the community as well. And this is a sustainability cloud. And to introduce the speaker, who you're gonna see on the video is Farshad Family, which is the global sustainability lead for Accenture Salesforce Business Group, and a managing director based out of the city of New York. Shad leads the sustainability initiative from a product, marketing, and go-to-market perspective. He works closely with key stakeholders across Accenture, Salesforce, and our clients to define, evolve, and grow Accenture's investment in sustainability offerings. Um, Without further ado, we do present the video from Dreamforce. So, Nanda, let's start the video.
Hey there. It's my job to let you know about some legal stuff. Today we'll be sharing some exciting news and announcements. Please make all of your purchasing decisions based on commercially available products.
The world is an infinitely complex place, which can make the problems of the world feel insurmountable. And so our challenges grow, and no one individual feels powerful enough to solve them. But no one individual is responsible for solving them. Because no matter how complex our challenges are, they are all shared and interconnected, which means the solutions can be too, if we work together. Every business and every person in the entire world is a stakeholder in the same fight. The fight to save our environment. The fight for the equitable treatment and inclusion of everyone. The fight to achieve true sustainability across every measure. Not just a sustainable climate, a flourishing economy, thriving relationships, a healthier world. Salesforce and Accenture share a vision of business as a platform for change, building solutions to embed sustainability into the core of business. With unrivaled technology, ingenuity, and years of experience helping businesses to adapt to change. We're joining forces so we can join forces with you. It's a massive challenge. It's a world-changing opportunity. This is our moment. Let's seize it together.
Please welcome Accenture Salesforce Business Group Sustainability Lead, Farshad Family.
Hello. My name is Farshad Family. I am a managing director at Accenture, and I lead the sustainability partnership we have with Salesforce on a global basis. And I am super excited to be here at Dreamforce. And I also have to say, I am super excited about that video. I love it, and here's why. I think it sets the right tone around the urgency, the importance, and the criticality of sustainability. And it really makes a great case for why Salesforce and Accenture have come together to tackle such a monumental challenge. But before I get to that, we're going to kind of set the stage a little bit and dive into it with what we're seeing across the industries. So I think it's now fairly non-controversial to say that sustainability is a top CEO agenda item across the board. You see some of the numbers here on the screen. Everyone pretty much universally agrees it is something that they have to address. Now, I think what's more interesting is to delve one level deeper to understand why. There are multiple constituents, multiple players here kind of pushing for change. First, you have employees. Most employee bases now are getting quite active and vocal, saying they want to work for companies that are sustainable, that are putting out sustainable products and services, and are doing net good for society, right? They want to work for companies that are taking care of the communities in which they work and operate. Second, you have consumers who are getting more knowledgeable and are paying attention, are being more thoughtful about the purchases they're making in terms of the products and services that they buy every day. They're doing their homework, they're asking the tough questions, and they want to make sure that their money is going towards goods and services that will not harm the environment, that'll be a net good in terms of carbon, and so on. Third, and perhaps just as important, you have the investors. Investors are shifting money to sustainable companies. They are being rigorous in their analysis. They're coming up with rankings and ratings and being thorough in how they allocate funds within their various portfolios. And you see one of the stats that are that now we're commonly sharing with our clients. We expect that the amount of assets under management focused just on sustainable companies to double in the next 5 years. That is a huge shift in terms of how money is going to flow in the capital markets, and that's one to watch out for. And then the fourth element here, in terms of who's pushing for change and how is change now finally happening, of course, there's the government sector. Policymakers, government leaders, community activists, they're all banding together and forcefully bringing about change. By our count, in terms of some of the research we've done, there are 61 countries that have mandatory ESG reporting requirements and provisions in place. So you have CEOs here that are getting a push for change from all directions and really bringing sustainability to the top of the list in terms of what they need to care about. Now, given how important sustainability is, I thought I'd spend a minute in terms of what Accenture's done on this front. You've heard earlier today about the great things Salesforce has already achieved in terms of achieving net zero and the other initiatives they've announced around sustainability. Wanted to also spend a minute on Accenture's activities on this front. So from a carbon perspective, we've announced that by 2025 we'll be net zero. We're well on our way. We have a solid path to get there. From a social perspective, we've announced that we're going to have a gender-balanced workforce by 2025. In terms of diversity and inclusion, by 2025, we're going to increase our representation of African American and Black employees here in the U.S. To 12% and higher. We're also putting quite a bit of pressure on our supply chain. We've asked that by 2025, up to 90% or more of our suppliers release information around their carbon emissions and what they're doing to achieve net zero. And so we're doing as much as we can on as many fronts as possible to be a force for good in the communities and countries where we operate. Now, given the common values that we have, it was quite natural for Accenture and Salesforce to come together and be a force for good in terms of helping our clients drive for change and drive this sustainability agenda. What we saw out in the marketplace were kind of three things that made the case for why we should be doing this partnership together. First, as we talked to customers and clients, we saw that while some had targets and they had made some good pronouncements around sustainability, they were struggling with the how. They were struggling with the operational plan to how to get there. And so what we saw was there's going to be a transformational wave that our clients need to do to achieve the targets that they've set out. So then my second point on this is, when you look at the facts and some of the numbers around, particularly reducing carbon and what's required to achieve net zero and carbon neutrality, the wave of change, the sustainability transformation wave that is about to come in the next 5 to 7 years, will probably be as big as, if not bigger, than the digital transformation wave that most companies just experienced in the last 5 to 7 years. Now, both Accenture and Salesforce were key partners in the digital transformation wave that just happened, and we want a seat at the table as the next wave goes in terms of sustainability. Which then brings me to my third point here, which is, if you're going to have a seat at the table, you need to bring something to the table. And I think our partnership is a great case where Accenture is bringing the deep sustainability expertise. We have lots of practitioners who've been in the field for a very long time, advising clients on the topic of sustainability. And then, of course, Salesforce brings the technology and the platform to enable this transformation. And so it's a great partnership that's come together. Now, while we're out there in the market, what are we hearing from our clients and customers? What are they grappling with, and what do we need to solve? Here are some of the challenges that our clients are facing in sustainability. First, there's the issue of there's lots of different frameworks and guidelines when it comes to ESG, environmental, social, and governance. And so there's some confusion around the ratings and the standards to follow, and so we need to kind of clear that up and help our clients with that. Second, when they go to pull together the facts and start to tackle this really difficult problem, what they see is that there's no single source of truth in a company. Data is spread out across the enterprise in different systems and different silos, and there's an opportunity there to help our clients. When they do go to dig in and look at the analysis and the facts, it's quite time consuming and it's quite manual and it's very slow. And we know we don't have a lot of time. We need to move quickly. And so there's another challenge there to address. Fourth, when they go to find solutions to put in place to tackle some of these challenges, most of what's out there in the marketplace are these point solutions that are just tackling a segment or a slice of the problem and not addressing it holistically in a transformational way. And that's another area where we think Accenture and Salesforce have an opportunity to help our clients. And then finally, the fifth point I'll make here in terms of some of the challenges companies are facing, to really bring about change, you need to get quite granular with the data. You need to go down to the SKU level or the service level or the product level and have carbon information and other sustainability data at that level so that your frontline managers, your business operators, the general managers have the data to make the decisions to improve upon the metrics that are being rolled up for the bigger and broader targets that are being set. And now, as you kind of look at this list and you go through the issues and challenges, it's quite daunting, but it's ripe for opportunity. And if these are not addressed head on, what you'll see is that sustainability is mostly just a bolted on concept, or it's being treated on the sidelines and not embedded in the core. And that is where Salesforce and Accenture are particularly focused. bringing sustainability into the core, into everyday process, into everyday workflows to bring about real change. So how are we doing that? There are three main ways in which we're focused on this today. First, we're starting by helping establish a fact base. You need to know what the facts are. You need to have an understanding of your current snapshot. How are you doing with carbon? What is your footprint? Where does it go? And that's where Sustainability Cloud is a particularly powerful tool that is helping clients understand that picture and put that picture together. And it's also quite powerful to couple that with MuleSoft to enable and facilitate the flow of data into Sustainability Cloud as the central place for all your sustainability and ESG data. Once we've done that, then second, we move to enabling our clients to zoom out from just being focused on carbon to being focused on ESG more holistically. As I mentioned earlier, while carbon, rightly so, gets a lot of the attention and a lot of the focus, in terms of environmental focus, there's also water, there's waste, and other ways in which a company can affect the environment. There's also social aspects, diversity, inclusion, gender equity, pay equity, and so on. So you need to track that and have a good understanding of that picture. And then there's governance, representation in your board of directors. Depending on your industry, it could be anti-corruption measures and so on. And so companies today need an easy way to track all that at the CEO level, at the C-suite level, and on downwards to have a good understanding of how they're doing and where they need to improve. And then my third point here is around the how to improve and really embedding, just to kind of really emphasize the embedding point. We're quite excited about the collaboration with Slack here to be able to pull in ways in which and solve for workflows and use cases and processes in which we light up data at the front so that business managers, whether they're in the marketing function, sales function, and various other front office functions, have the data and the tools they need to improve upon the sustainability KPIs and targets. So very, very exciting suite of products that are tackling the sustainability challenge head on. And now when it comes to how are we doing out in the marketplace, I'm really proud to say we've had great traction. We're working with clients across many different industries, insurance, retail, and automotive, across different geographies and across different industries. One of the case studies that I wanted to highlight today is our exciting partnership with Mastercard. Mastercard teams up with Salesforce and Accenture to tackle a great use case that Sustainability Cloud is really well suited for, and that is how to get a better understanding of the carbon footprint across the supply chain. Previous to implementing Sustainability Cloud, Mastercard was using a manual way to tackle this problem with spreadsheets and other offline products. And with Sustainability Cloud, they were able to put together a picture of their carbon emissions in just a matter of weeks, when previously it would take several months. And that change in timeline is really important because that introduces much greater velocity to decision making, which is what's needed to drive the change and to drive the transformation that is needed to hit some of these aggressive targets and goals that companies like Mastercard have set out. And I think I'm going to conclude today by hitting on a point that was covered actually in the keynote by Mark Benioff, which is this is really not a topic just about doing good. It's about doing well also. The numbers you're seeing here on the screen is just published research from Accenture, where we've shown companies that are leading on sustainability, that are in the top quartile in terms of sustainability performance, are outperforming their peers that do not, that are in the bottom quartile when it comes to financial performance. So you see the big number up there, 21% EBITDA improvement, EBITDA margin improvement for companies that are doing better on sustainability than those that are not. And so this is quite I think a compelling data point that says this is not just about doing good, it's about doing well also, and the two things very much go hand in hand. So that's why it's really important to have that strong sustainability DNA at your company and think about ways in which you can embed it in everyday work. Now, I think we're very much at the beginning of the journey here, and there's a lot more work to do. And so I'm gonna wrap up here by asking that you join us on this really important journey, on this really important transformation. We'd love to hear from you. Both Salesforce and Accenture are putting a lot of effort, time, and resources into this really important agenda, and we can't wait to partner with you guys on making this happen. Thank you for your time.
All right. Thank you, Accenture, for the great sharing session. Right. Let us proceed now to a Q&A session. Fellow Trailblazers, please feel free to type in your questions so that we can choose some of them for Marvin to answer. But I think while the content is playing, right, we do have questions coming in. Yep. Let me ask Marvin the first questions, right, from Prakash. Prakash is asking, like, what do you suggest for the sustainability transformation? Marvin, can you share your thoughts on this?
Sure, Pei. Very, very good question. I myself on this journey, like sustainability cloud is pretty new, as you know. But going through the literature that is being shared inside Accenture, it has been a really, really great um, eye opener on what are the things that can be done. There is no straight out answer, I guess, to put it. But when we go to market, we do discovery sessions, like to what Chad has been describing on the video, really understanding what is the data. It can come from different places. So putting them together is one of like a very, very large chunk of work. But what I can recall as one of the key examples that has been something that I can relate to as a consumer, like we just had 11/11. Not sure if it's a common thing across the globe, but 11/11 is like the time of the year. A lot of promos that you can get from your app. So in terms of an example, there was one shared to us that in one of the clients, there was in the interface of a customer where you order your stuff, your promo items. There is
Mhm.
a view where you can see what the carbon emissions are. So it provides a view to the customer that by choosing this mode of call this mode of delivery. This is the amount of carbon emissions that can be emitted. Um, so just that type of example, if it hasn't been there before, there's really no data to calculate how to provide our customers like informed decisions. But that's just one example. But there's a whole lot more. The bulk of the work is really trying to understand how it's different for each of the clients. So yeah, I hope that provides a picture.
Yep, that definitely. Marvin, since Accenture is leading the transformation change in sustainability cloud, right? Do you mind to share with us some features about inside the sustainability cloud, right? That you think that all our trailblazers can relate easily.
Sure. There is a portion in Shad's presentation that he has shared, three key Salesforce modules or capabilities. So there's MuleSoft in terms of putting together all the data inside Salesforce. So in terms of the sustainability offering, there are custom objects, permissions, and all the data model part of the application to pull in all the information and to create the metrics that will show us carbon emissions, for example. And that can go as far as not just carbon emissions, right? Because by sustainability, it does talk about ESG, which is three things. First is environment, second is social, and third is governance. So all of those information, the sustainability cloud will be able to provide an easier way to collect those information. So together with MuleSoft to pull all the information in the platform, that is a huge enabler. And at the same time, to create really informative optics on all these data, there is Tableau. And then obviously the new launch from Dreamforce, the virtual HQ headquarters, Slack is a huge enabler as well. So in terms of the key building blocks, those are the key items in there.
Okay, so thanks, Marvin. And what's your advice, right, for for our clients or for our fellow trailblazers in the admin or developers role or even architects role, right? What would be your advice to them if they want to start this sustainability cloud journey?
Sure. Hey, I have been a very huge believer of certifications because certifications is a very structured way to really learn something that you're not familiar with. It provides you the building blocks of what are the needed learning blocks. So my advice is go to, especially for folks that are working with partners, there is the Partner Learning Camp or PLC, which you can have access through the partner community. It's really easy to get there. And the PLC or Partner Learning Camp has a trail where it will break out the core capabilities of sustainability cloud. At the same time, for you to sort of legitimize like a certification that you know these things, there's also an accredited professional badge that the partners will also get measured on. So a lot of that as well will help you on enablement. So PLC and then AP.
Okay, that's a great tips. All right, I think we are running down to the almost close to the end of the session. So, fellow trailblazers, hope you enjoyed this session with Accenture and Marvin. Right, help us improve by completing the session survey after this session. Right, each points you will earn points by submitting the survey. Okay, so we are ready to leave this session and go ahead to the next one. See you soon.